Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Professor Aisha Humayun here. In this video, I am going to talk about writing results. While writing your manuscript, this is the fourth portion that need to be written. First, in my previous video, I have talked about writing the title, abstract, the keywords, introduction, methods, and now this is the result section. When we structure our manuscript, it is just like a story, starting with the beginning, that is the introduction of our manuscript, the middle, that is the body of the manuscript, and a conclusion, ending the manuscript. So just like a story, it need to be very sequenced and connected with each other, in line with each other. In the middle, it includes the method section, result section, and discussion of the results. Now, again, repeating the same components of an original research article or manuscript that includes those in black. They are the sections that vary according to the format of the journal, the title. We have already discussed authors, what is authorship, how to write an abstract, how to write keywords, what are mesh terms. We already have discussed in previous videos. Now introduction, again, introduction is completed. Method section in IMRAD format, IMRD, introduction, method, results, and then discussion. At the end, there is acknowledgement. Those who are not eligible for authorship, they are acknowledged in the acknowledgement section. Then comes the references, and this again, I will be discussing references and appendices or the supplementary files in subsequent videos. So while writing the results, what should be done? Description of participant or sample, the population excluded, lost to follow-up. Primary outcome must be mentioned. Secondary efficacy endpoints, figure and tables can be used to summarize the data. Statistical analysis results can be shown, and like is compared with like. This must be remembered. Schematic pictorial diagram of your study can be inserted over here. For example, when you are doing RCT, you can insert consort framework in the result section as a first table or a first figure if you are using that framework. And you can create your own diagram methodological framework as well. Okay, what should not be done? Do not interpret or comment on the findings here, and duplicate data among tables, figures, and text must be avoided. If something is mentioned in table or figure, then there is no need to repeat it. Only key findings must be written in narrative form. Okay, use graphics to illustrate data that can easily be summarized with text. This is again prohibited. This should not be done. So present results in a logical sequence. Text should highlight the most important findings only, and details must be shown in tables and figure. And these tables and figures should be referred properly, and they must appear in a sequence as they appear in the text. Their number should be in a sequence. Do not repeat all the numbers from the tables in the text. So only selected or key findings must be narrated. Report absolute numbers with appropriate percentages. Measures of variability like mean, plus minus, standard deviation. Mean alone should not be mentioned. It should be mentioned along with standard deviation. Median with interquartile range, and effect sizes with confidence intervals. So wherever you mention effect size, mention confidence interval, because we conventionally in medical research we use 95% confidence interval, so you can specify that over there. And there are confidence interval calculators available. So if you have effect size and you haven't calculated it from in the SPSS or Excel, then you can go and just go online and check confidence interval calculator and calculate it for the specific effect sizes. So in that way you can report. Include number of participant, response rate, and reasons for exclusion or missing data. So this is very important. Usually the response rate is not mentioned. It causes or reasons for exclusion of patients while the analysis was performed. Initially the participant recruited were 200, but the analysis was performed on 150 because there was missing data, there were exclusions, so that need to be mentioned in the result section. Report primary outcomes first, then secondary or subgroup analysis can be shown or presented. Avoid interpretation in results. Save explanation for the discussion section. So here is an example. A total of 520 participants were enrolled with a response rate of 92.3%. The mean age was 34.6 plus minus 9.2 years, that is the standard deviation. 52.7% were female. Table 1 summarizes participants' baseline characteristics. Now, no more detail is given and they are referring to table 1. Bivariate analyses showed a significant association between education level and vaccination status, and the p-value is highly significant, refer to table 2. This highly significant value is usually it is written like this, less than 0.001. If any p-value is below 0.001 or below, it's in highly significant category, then for as a tradition or conventionally we write it p is less than 0.001. Pearson correlation indicated a moderate positive correlation between age and vaccine confidence, that is r is equal to 0.42. This is the Pearson correlation value. P is less than 0.001 again, and table 3 is referred. In multivariate logistic regression, higher education remained a significant predictor of vaccine acceptance. So AOR is 2.45, adjusted odds ratio, and 95% confidence interval is given over here, and p-value is 0.001 again, after adjusting for age and gender, and this is given in table 4. So anyone interested to know about multivariate logistic regression applied on all variables can refer to table 4, can see the table 4. Only the key findings mentioned over here, but the key findings are mentioned completely with the p-value, with the confidence interval, and with the adjusted odds ratio. And you can see different types of tests were applied on different variables and they are clearly mentioned. So follow journal table formatting instruction given by the journal. Typically tables, they are numbered sequentially and they do not contain vertical lines. Round the numbers sensibly. 2 decimal places for means is that is enough, and odds ratio, correlation coefficient, for all these, even for odds ratio, for correlation coefficient, 2 decimal places they are enough. This is the standard. Always report p-values and effect sizes, not just significant or non-significant. You have to mention all the p-values and effect sizes. For multivariate models, so if you are mentioning p-values and effect sizes in tables, so there is no need to repeat it in the text. So only if mention the key findings. For multivariate models, state variables included in the model in a footnote and include how model fit was assessed. For example, Hosmer, Limeshow, and R square, how it was assessed. Okay, indicate reference categories for categorical data, and if multiple models are run, label clearly. For example, model 1 unadjusted, model 2 adjusted for age and sex. So if you can run multiple models, but you have to label them clearly. So if you are running this multivariate models and you are facing difficulty in interpreting your results, even chat gpt or ai model, whatever you want to use, it can help you conclude or interpret whatever result you get from your analysis. So that interpretation you can use, you can paraphrase it, use it in your manuscript, and mention that you have used AI to get an interpretation or conclusion of the results. The data was yours, the results were based on your data. You are just asking the way of concluding or way of interpreting those values that can make you learn. So AI can be used to learn how to interpret the answers. Okay, so that is not wrong, but you have to mention it in your method section that this was the tool that I used for this purpose. So so here this is the table 1, baseline characteristic of study participant. So this table includes the descriptive statistics. Okay, another point that I have missed over here, that is whenever you write the caption of the table, that should stand alone. Stand alone means that it is telling about, it is smart. It is telling that these are the baseline characteristics of study participant of this specific study in this specific place on these specific participants. For example, on the ulcerative colitis patients attending Sheikh Zayed Hospital during 2025 January to June. So you have to make it stand alone. The table caption should be like that. Okay, but usually we don't find it in our practice. That is very unfortunate. This is an example of a table where vertical lines are not there, but horizontal lines are there. Even you can use a fading technique to fade the lines. Or here these variable are mentioned. This is n or percentage or mean or standard deviation, because it's a mixed kind of table. Initially the age is mentioned in mean and standard deviation, while male female they are in percentages, so we can use that. There is median mentioned over here with age, and minimum maximum is also mentioned. With no, for education level, we have three categories. So it's an ordinal data, no formal education, secondary, tertiary. So it's an ordinal data. And while age is a continuous numerical data, so it's you are calculating mean on that. Gender is again categorical, male, female, two, that's dichotomous categorical. So you are getting percentages. While the education level is categorical, but it is ordinal categorical. So again, you are getting percentages. Income is in US dollar. It is again a continuous numerical variable. So you are getting mean and standard deviation, median, interquartile range, and the minimum and maximum value. So the last one is vaccine acceptance. It's in yes or no. So this is also a percentage categorical variable. So here table 2 shows association between independent variables and outcome, that is chi-square test, t-test or ANOVA can be applied. So you can, the second table can be about the inferential statistics. So one test chi-square is applied. So I had a few variables on in where categorical variables where chi-square was applied, or so I used it over here. You can see for the gender, male, female, their percentages, outcome present, outcome absent, and chi-square value applied, p-value is calculated. So it is not significant. The education level, there is no formal secondary, tertiary. Again, this is ordinal categorical data. So here again, chi-square is applied for association. To determine association, I have used chi-square in both places, and again here the p-value is significant. So in the note section below the table, you can give an asterisk sign and tell what type of statistic was applied. So here you don't need to mention a separate column with for chi-square value or or t value. Only p value is enough. So you can write in the footnote what test was applied. And in table 3, this is about correlation between continuous variable. In age versus vaccine confidence score, Pearson correlation coefficient was applied. In income versus vaccine confidence score, Spearman was applied. Again, I will be discussing the difference between Pearson, Spearman, and when to apply, where to apply in the data analysis videos to give you a detailed insight. So again, 95% confidence interval is calculated on this, and p-value is significant in both cases. Table number 4 shows multivariate regression analysis, logistic and linear or Poisson. Whatever regression was applied, you can mention in this table. Here, age, female, tertiary education, monthly income, all these variables. Crude odds ratio was calculated with 95% confidence interval and a p-value calculated around for the this odds ratio, and then adjusted p-value odds ratio was calculated, and this was crude odds ratio. This is adjusted for the variables, and the p-value again, the column shows p-value is for this adjusted odds ratio. So note clearly state the type of regression, for example, if it's logistic, and report both crude and adjusted estimate with 95% confidence interval. So for reporting logistic regression, multivariable regression analysis may be logistic, linear, or Poisson. You can mention just the p-values with crude OR and adjusted OR. That will be enough. So when to use which analysis? Here, the descriptive statistic analysis type was descriptive statistic. Purpose was to describe the population or sample. Table 1 was the example. Again, the second point is association. When you determine association, chi-square t-test applied, then this is done when when you intend to compare groups. The table 2 is comparison of group. Now the third point is correlation. Pearson-Spearman was applied when you want to assess relationship between continuous variable. Then you apply, then this is the table 3 was the example of this kind of analysis. Regression, linear or logistic, and I will be taking a separate video on regression as well. For in this case, this table 4 was about regression, and it is done when adjusted effect estimates are required or prediction is there. So this is important. When you talk about prediction or adjusted effect estimates, then you apply regression. This is the purpose for that. So here, this is a chart showing the consort framework. This you can place it as a figure or as a table. And this shows the eligibility, the how you enrolled, allocated, follow-up, and analysis was done. So this chart is important when you are writing a manuscript on an RCT. Okay. This is then again example we have already discussed. This is another format where you put n separately and percentage separately. Again, you have to look for the journal guidelines, whether they want n and bracket, the percentage in the bracket, or as a separate column. These are the some dummy tables, one dummy table showing how exposed, unexposed, and the prevalence ratio with a 95% confidence interval. So thank you so much. And these were the few examples how to write a result and what are the mandatory requirement to write a result section, and how you can guide your result section using author guidelines or ICMJE guidelines. So thank you. Please, if you have any question, write in the comment box.